So let me tell you a little story. A couple weeks ago, I was on campus, and it was during one of the breaks, and I was getting hungry, and it was lunchtime. So I did what I usually do. I found my key from wherever it was hiding, and I started my walk to the cafeteria. And I got halfway up the hill, and if you guys are familiar with this campus, you know what hill I'm talking about. And I realized it was a break, and there was no cafeteria. The cafeteria was closed. So I did what I had to do. I got in the car, and I drove to the store. And I bought some microwavable carrots, some chicken fries, and some microwavable rice. And I'm not going to bore you with the details because my roommate's here and I don't really want to get sold out. But the carrots exploded in the microwave, the rice tasted disgusting, and the chicken fries ended up with freezer burn. So I learned two things in this endeavor. One, I don't know how to cook. Two, I learned that if the caf disappeared or I was unable to make it because of work, classes, meetings, if I was just overall busy, I couldn't get the meal that I needed. But who am I to tell you that this is a problem, and who am I to come up with a solution? Well, hi, my name's McKinley Becraft, and I'm a hungry college student. So I am exactly the person that I'm trying to market. I'm busy, people are busy, my friends are busy. We as college students are very busy people. We can't always make it to the cafeteria. So I'm specifically an accounting and finance major. I'll be working for Ernst & Young this summer, and I've got some passion that I'd like to bring to college campuses everywhere. Now, I told you about the problem, but I didn't tell you what really my solution was. My solution is a single-serving meal that'll be convenient and accessible at all times during the day. So this meal is going to be found inside of a vending machine located in the residential areas of campus. So the dorms that are found on a campus is where the vending machines will be located. And it'll be a single-serving meal that has to be cooked. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you guys live on campus, you know you don't have a kitchen. But that's the cool thing about To-Go Box. You don't need a kitchen. Everything inside can be made within the constraints of a college dorm. So I'm talking no stove and no oven. You don't need it. You just need the microwave and toaster, and if you have one, a rice cooker and crock pot for some of the more advanced recipes. These are easily accessible 24/7. It can be paired with a beverage. Inside of the vending machines is also water and sugar-free Gatorade. And then the boxes themselves are made with fresh, wholesome ingredients. So the food is coming from a place called Webstront. They have a warehouse on the border of Nevada to California. They are an online food retail business. Their job is to give food to food trucks, restaurants in the area. When I made a pseudo order, all food will be here within the day, and it comes shipped refrigerated. So that's not really a concern. Food prep and licensing. Nobody wants to find a hair in their food. Nobody wants to find a spider. So we will be kept up to FDA regulations. That means that every food handler will be licensed. In addition, I will have a food manager's license to keep that balance in check. Calories, nutrition information, allergy warnings, that will all be found on the box, as well as outside the vending machines and on the website. If you have a big allergy, if you have a dietary restriction, I want you to know what you are buying, because I want this to be a meal that you can actually make. And we will keep up to date with all FDA standards. The food industry is constantly changing, standards are constantly changing, and I want to keep up to date with that. Now you know about what's going in the box, and you know about how I'm going to make it. I'd like to tell you where. Now there's a place right off the 405 called Hood Kitchen. Hood Kitchen is FDA approved. It's a rental kitchen and fridge space. So this is the location where the food will be prepped. This is where the food will be stored. It's FDA approved, which kind of takes a lot of the initial startup cost for me. For me to start a warehouse like this would be insanely expensive, but this is very affordable and very nearby to the market that I'm trying to sell in. So the industry analysis. There's 19.9 million college students in the United States. 19.9 million. That's a lot of colleges, that's a lot of campuses, and that's a lot of dormitories. Of those college campuses that these students live on, 98% of them have vending machines. And I like to joke that that last 2% is just not real colleges, because if you don't have a vending machine, I'm not sure how people are surviving. Now, vending machines, it's an industry that you wouldn't expect to have a lot of revenue. You're swiping dollar water bottles, 75-cent chips, nothing really big, nothing really wild. Despite that, the vending machine industry is $7 billion. That's huge. That's a huge market. That's a lot that we can kind of break into, and it is only growing. Vending machines are only becoming more popular as our culture is very, very fast-paced, quick, move, move, move. Now this fact is from the National Park and Recs Association vending machine research analysis, and it's 74% of millennials desire healthier food and drink options in vending machines. 74%. Has anyone seen anything remotely similar to a vegetable in a vending machine ever? No. So this is a market that's untapped. This is a desire that's growing. If you compare the statistics as people get older, as you go younger down the generational chain, more and more people want healthier food options in vending machines. And I'd like to expand on this with some market research and figure out, yes, people want healthier food. What are they defining as healthier food, and what is it that they're looking for? So part of To-Go Box is going to be researching what it was that millennials, Gen Z, the people who are entering colleges now, what they specifically want in vending machines. So customer analysis. Like I said, I'm targeting college students. These people generally range from 18 to 21, or 18 to 21, 18 to 23, but the ages do vary because college varies. I'm targeting people who specifically don't have kitchens. So if you don't have a kitchen, you aren't able to make a full-blown meal. These are the people that I'm targeting. And most importantly, I want people who are so busy they don't have time to make the food that they desire, or they don't have time to get to the caf. This is a meal that they can get whenever they need it. So competitive analysis. There's a lot of different competitors, some direct, some indirect. The biggest one is vending machines. So like vending machines already exist. The difference between me and them, vending machines are generally snack items. These are chips, these are cookies, these are unhealthy, and they're not really a full meal. You're not gonna eat a bag of chips and then not be hungry for another bag of chips later. So this is a meal that can be substituted instead of a snack. Grocery stores. Grocery stores are great. You can buy whatever you want, you can make whatever you want. Grocery stores are super impractical for college students. You don't know what you're gonna be doing during the week. You can't just buy yourself a meal, it'll end up going to waste. You buy too much, it's expensive. So working with the grocery stores when you were a college student can be very, very difficult. In addition, restaurants. Restaurants are awesome, fun, can range in price, and depending on what kind of campus you're on, they might not be nearby. So they're not really convenient, they're not really next to you. And then school cafeterias, again, great, but they're made for the majority. To-Go Box is designed for the individual. So if I merge these three things together, To-Go Box is convenient. It's located right next to those college dorm rooms. It's accessible. You can get it any hour of the day. It's a vending machine. It never has closed hours. And three, it's designed for the individual. So it's designed for the student who needs the product. So marketing plan. I've got a couple of different marketing strategies. I want the students to know that I support them not just with their nutrition, but with the activities they're involved in. So sponsorships through sports, get a banner up at a volleyball game, at a soccer game, that kind of thing. Fine arts productions, put To-Go Box in the flyers, those kind of things. I want to do stickers. Stickers, I don't know if you guys are familiar with stickers in college students, but I've never seen someone with a hydro or a Mac not decorated. So spread it out with some cute little To-Go Box stickers. Taste testing. This goes in with that market research I was referencing earlier. I want to set up a table on a place that's got a lot of foot traffic. So on Concordia's campus, it would be a place like Larry's Lawn between the dormitories. Let them sample the food, tell me what they think, let them know where it's coming from. It's good to get the brand out there as well as get customer feedback. In addition, I'm targeting students 18 to 23. I don't know anyone who doesn't have a social media page who's within that age limit, so I want to be very active on social media. Most prominently Instagram for those food pictures, and Twitter. If anyone's familiar with Wendy's Twitter marketing scheme or Moon Pie's marketing scheme on their Twitter page, that's what I'm going for. I want to be active, I want to be funny, I want to keep up with the times. And to do that, you have to be very active and engaged on social media platforms. So funding request. I'm asking for $40,000. I myself, through friends and family, will be donating $15,000. So this $40,000 is going to help cover the cost of the vending machines. I want to get the National 431. It meets all the regulations. I can control the temperature, things like that. It costs about $3,000 for me to get each vending machine, including shipping. Initial food purchases. The cool thing about a company like To-Go Box is I'm not going to buy 2,000 pounds of lettuce in the beginning of the year, right? Because you can't have fresh produce. So as I make revenue off the sale, I'll be able to put that back into the company continuously throughout. And in addition, other expenses. So because I'm working with food and foodborne illnesses are a thing, I need to have insurance and liabilities that are prepared to cover that. And I want to get food licensing, all those kind of things. Those other expenses are what some of this money will be going for. And this $40,000, I'm expecting it to cover clear through the first year, as well as likely into the second year in case any speed bumps, any complications are hit. So financial projections. I bet you're looking and you're like, $43,236, that's a very specific number, where are you getting that? Well, each box is sold for $8. The Gatorades are sold for $1.25. Or $1.50, and the waters are sold for $1.25. Inventory will be turned over every 5 days. If it's not sold, I will take it out. Because it's every 5 days, there's going to be 50 To-Go Box boxes inside each vending machine, 30 water bottles, and 25 Gatorades. That I'm not expecting to sell all 50 in a 5-day span. I feel like that's a little bit unrealistic. I don't think food will necessarily be that desired. So I'm expecting 85% of those to actually sell. And the other 15%, I'm just accounting for if any of them go bad and get stuck in the vending machine, anything like that. I did not account for those being sold. The cost of goods sold comes from how much it costs me each to make. That comes from the purchasing of the water bottles, the purchasing of the Gatorade, and the meals themselves. So the meals are meals are created for about $3. As I continue to grow in units, that number will slowly decrease. So expansion plans. There's a lot of different places To-Go Box can go. And perhaps the biggest thing that is going to be important for To-Go Box to consider as they expand is there's two ways a company can expand. They can expand with their product line, or they can expand with their locations. And To-Go Box wants to do both based on the demands of the customer. So I'm initially releasing 4 to 5 recipes in each vending machine. And I would like to continue to change up those recipes so students aren't getting bored and it's not a hassle and you just switch up the food, right? Keep it fresh, keep it constant. But in addition, I want to grow to outside markets. So there's 19.9 million college students. Well, I want every single one of them to have a vending machine. So I'm going to use Southern California as a base and slowly grow. If I decide to stay more Southern California and grow from there, office buildings, apartments, places with a lot of foot traffic where you don't necessarily have the time to go and grab yourself a meal, that is where To-Go Box is being targeted. So thank you. Again, I'm McKinley Becraft. I'm the founder of To-Go Box. If anyone has any questions, I've got some business cards up here. I'd be more than happy to talk about my little brainchild. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, McKinley. We'll have some question and answers from our judges now. So who would like to begin?
Thanks, McKinley. Very good presentation. Talk about your placement strategy. Placement being how you're going to get the vending machines in the universities or colleges. Have you talked to the purchasing people, and what's the process? And secondly, I guess there's probably people that will do that for you and then also maintain them. So that's maybe one thing you could seek out in terms of someone has a platform to do that for you to save some capital and money, perhaps.
Right, okay, so originally, To-Go Box in the very beginning when it was in its little formation stages, I was actually going to be a business-to-business company. I was going to go to a vending machine and I was just going to have To-Go Box boxes be placed in there. That was my original plan. I thought that would be easier so I don't have to control the vending machines. But I wanted to get a feel for what my customers actually wanted. So I met with Tim Odell and Davis Garten of University Services here at Concordia, and I started asking a bunch of vending machine questions. And the gist of it was they outreach to a company called Executive Maintenance. Executive Maintenance is not just a vending machine company. They're kind of like an add-on to a vending machine company. So they actually do the cleaning and the maintenance and all those kinds of things. So talking and trying to figure out whether or not it would be feasible for me to kind of go through a place like Executive Maintenance, which colleges is likely, didn't really seem to be, I wouldn't have control over my product, is kind of what it sounded like. So then I kind of figured out if I were to place my own vending machine on campus, I can control what goes in there. I can make sure it's healthy. I can make sure my product is ultimately pushed. So I switched from a business to business to business to company. So despite the fact that it might be easier like maintenance-wise, and I've started reading vending machine manuals, and I actually think it's pretty doable. They're not really complex machinery, but it would be easier for me to actually own my own vending machine. And they seemed interested enough because it's not a snack, it's a whole different type of meal, that they would be interested in putting one right next to the ones that already exist in Sigma.
What about perishability? I mean, that would be my biggest concern. If you put 15 items, you are selling for $8, your cost is $3. Every time you lose a box, there goes your profit for the one right next to it. Right. So that would be something that would be a big concern.
I'm going to fluctuate based on the demand of a product. If I see that one's not selling, I'm not going to keep stocking. So, for example, if I've got a Philly cheesesteak recipe and I see that one's not standing, I'm going to just pull it out and replace it with a product that's more desirable. As for if a food starts to spoil at the end of 5 days, if there's any To-Go boxes left in there, they're going to be taken out. They're not going to be sold. I do not want people getting gross wilted lettuce and things like that. So it is a very real concern, but the amount of To-Go boxes I put in there will be based on the demand and how many people will be attending the vending machine, because it'll be easier to keep track. Oh, go ahead.
Have you checked to see if a 5 days period for an item anywhere, food, the restaurant takes it, uses it, and store it. Is it okay to have 5 days in there?
According to FDA, yes. According to the ones I've bought from like the school cafeteria and from like the grocery store and things like that, they usually have an expiration date of at least $5. So I did look into, is 5 a reasonable amount of time? And according to all regulations I've found so far that yes, 5 days is more than a reasonable amount of time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate you. This is a really interesting idea, extremely well thought out. So thank you for all the time you've put into that, because this is really good. Do you have a written business plan to back this up?
I do, yes.
All right, very good.
Great. Any other comments or questions from our judges? All right. Well, thank you,
Great,
McKinley.
thank you.